Well, good Taco Tuesday, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It is. Ooh, let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football guys here this early this morning. It feels like I just went to bed. I was up talking late with my buddy Jet D, who is going to a trip to Rome. Wow, I did not even see that coming, but it was actually great talking to him and things. I am so blessed to have so many great fans and friends that have happened because of YouTube as we close in. We're under 600 people away from 50,000. Note, there's a video out that has in the description the details for the tailgate, as well as in the community tab, there's a post in there about the tailgate and the information. We're buying the tickets directly from the Commanders. Now, if there's always going to be people out there that are trolls and haters and say that I'm ripping people off. I'm not touching your money at all for the tickets. What it's going to be is it's club level $325, and the good thing about club level $325 is if the weather is bad or if it's cold, you have access to the closed concourse, which is heated and, of course, weather tight. The seats themselves don't have seats above them where you end up getting the sewage dumped on you. And it's all in the same section that we were together, where we had about 80 fans. I know Nick Capps is going there. Michael Ward, who is here for the game, him and his son's going to be coming, as well as a multitude of others. So in there is Jed Stewart, I believe his last name. His contact information and stuff, just text him a message, tell him how many tickets that you want, and so on. And the seats are $199. There is no extra fee for those. When you see tickets listed on StubHub and all that, you might see them for about $236. Is the cheapest I've seen that seat on the different sites. But there's an additional fee of $30 to $40 to $50 on it. So, if you have tickets and you're going to go to the game, you just want to come by the tailgate, that's cool too. We'll be in red zone lot. What we are asking for is if you want to help cover the cost, because we do spend a lot of money on the food and things. I have a donation link in there to help donate some money to help pay for the food and stuff like that. We'll have hot chocolate in case it's cold. Pulled pork, we'll have Joe Boo chili, Joe Boo wings, we'll have a 65-inch TV, we will have a ball. So definitely start getting that on your mind now, because we are less than a month away from that. So the Cowboys, and I'm sorry, I'm tired, boss. It's only 6:30 and I've already started packing the truck. So forgive me, as today's going to be a big day. I'll be meeting the power company down with the engineer for the red brick house, and I've got some work I got to get done by tomorrow for an inspection. So up early, taking care of business. T.Y. Hilton, in his own words yesterday, God did it, and his message to Cowboy fans.
Hi, Cowboy Nation. This is T.Y. Hilton. I'm excited to be here. Can't wait to get to work. Let's go do this. Hi, Cowboy Nation. This is T.Y. Hilton. I'm excited to be here. Can't wait to get to work. Let's go do this.
Let's go do this. All right, so as far as money goes, I know that, I was sitting there saying, T.Y. Hilton's been out there all off season. And why didn't we go ahead and sign him sooner? I know why, because Catboy looked and said, if we can go ahead and get through most of the season without signing a receiver, and we only have to pay him for a couple of games, that's some more money, because it's all mine. It's all mine. I want to hold on to that money. But what T.Y. Hilton will actually earn will be $600,000 minimum for the 4 games, $150,000 a game. If he is active on the 40-man roster, he gets an additional $50,000. So for the 4 games that are left, he can make a maximum of $800,000. There are playoff incentives worth $700,000, and I'm assuming that one of those is you're playing in playoff games, and we're going to the Super Bowl and stuff. So it could be a total deal of $1.5 million. Now, he was injured last year, not to mention some other people that we looked at signing last year, and Odell. And his season was, of course, he had the injury, was a little bit down. He is 33 years old. But when you think about T.Y. Hilton, through the course of the last few years, every year it's been a different quarterback. In 2017, it was Jacoby Brissett. 2018, it was Andrew Luck for a while. And then it was Jacoby Brissett. Then it was Phillip Rivers. Then it was Carson Wentz. No, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't Carson. Yeah, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz. So you were literally just kind of going through quarterback to quarterback to quarterback, and there's no consistency there. So, again, now he's going with a different quarterback, of course, with Dak Prescott. But the team itself has had some issues, of course, on offense and offensively challenged. But quite frankly, if you look at the numbers of T.Y. Hilton in comparison to Odell Beckham, and understand that T.Y. Hilton is not still recovering from the ACL, he is good to go. They had the workouts. He's in fine shape. He's ready to rock and roll. And when you look at the numbers of him per game, Odell Beckham through his career is 76.7 yards per reception, and T.Y. Hilton is 67.7. His TD percentage is 0.4 versus Odell's 0.6. And I'm not going to say that T.Y. Hilton is Odell Beckham Jr. He is 3 years older than him, but we don't need T.Y. Hilton to necessarily be Odell Beckham, because the amazing thing about T.Y. Hilton is actually his yards per reception. And as I go back through here and we look at his actual numbers, again, he only played 9 games last year. One of his poorer years. He still had in 9 games 3 TDs and averaged 14.4 yards per reception. He is getting down the field. And you think about all the years that he's had such turnover in quarterback play. The last time he had a really good quarterback, that at least I look at it, that wasn't on the tail end of his career, was 2018 with Andrew Luck. 14 games, had 1,270 yards, 16.7 yard average, and 6 TDs. Well, say what you will about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's numbers are a lot better than Josh Allen's. So, of course, Josh Allen is an MVP. Dak Prescott is trash. Of course, that's the way it always works when you're the Cowboys. The Cowboys are either you love the Cowboys or you vilify the Cowboys. That's just the way it goes when it comes to the Cowboys. But signing him is really a no-risk, high-reward type of a signing, because you're not really. Hi,
Cowboy Nation. This is T.Y. Hilton.
Right,
I'm excited to be here.
He's excited to be here. It's not one of those ones that you are stuck giving up draft picks, that you're investing a lot of money in. It's one of those things that if it works, great. If it doesn't, no big loss. But at least they're trying to do something and at least get us some depth. Now, as far as Odell, of course, they're still towing the company line and saying that, we're still talking to Odell. I kind of believe, in a way, this was a move that kind of said, you know what, Odell, we don't necessarily need you, and puts the ball in Odell's court. See, the problem for Odell was we have been so gaga over him, he could play us. It's one of those things that's crazy. When you're in a relationship or you're dating somebody, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. When you are so head over heels in love and you do everything for the lady or the guy, they take you for granted. They use you. They know they can get over on you. For some reason, the ones that end up being kind of meh, maybe they're cheating on them or seeing other people and, wandering eyes, then the person has to work hard to win your favor back. It makes no sense to me. It does not. It's backwards. So, the woman is falling all over the guy who's out there cheating stuff on her, trying to make sure she keeps him home. And I think in a way, that's what the Cowboys are kind of like, you know what, Odell, we got another one. We're okay. And if Odell really has his heart set on the Cowboys, then his demands or his desire to come back may be stronger. Now, dealing with the game against the Texans, I'm going to look at this as a wake-up call for the team. But I'm also going to look at this a little bit differently than some do. I'm going to look at this as a will to win. I remember a New York Giant team that every single week that beat, I believe, an 18-0 New England Patriots team, that every week they would find some crazy way. Sometimes they didn't deserve to win, ways to win. They went to the playoffs, and they ended up going all the way, to everybody's surprise, and beating New England. And in football, from one week to the next, you can be a great team and then turn around and just be ass, or vice versa. Take a look at the Detroit Lions right now. In the time since the Cowboys have played them, they've been one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They just went up there and they bitch slapped the Minnesota Vikings. First half of the season, you looked at that and said, man, they got Jared Goff, man. You know, Jared Goff sucks. They're the Lions. They ain't your daddy's Lions right now. They're a team that's hot that could actually make the playoffs, and they've turned it around. So there's time for the Cowboys to get back into a groove. And I dare say that the Dallas Cowboys have a tendency, when they are predicted to be a rollover, I think that mentality sinks into the team, and they play down to the level of the teams. Let's hear what Rich Eisen's point of view is on it.
On one hand, where I give you what you're looking for, which is an attaboy, TJ. Your Dallas Cowboys yesterday,
It's
man.
always something, man.
Your Dallas Cowboys yesterday showed up and said, we've got 9 wins. We deserve a 10th. That's the way they played yesterday.
Pretty much.
That's exactly how they showed up against the Houston Texans yesterday.
Pretty much.
Okay? We just took the Indianapolis Colts apart in the third quarter alone. Do we even have to play today? We should just give us the 10th win.
Yeah, why wouldn't you feel
That's
that
the way they played, man. They muffed a punt up 7-0, and then the roof caved in. And you, sir, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, are lucky that they somehow, some way, on a 5-yard line with 3 with mere minutes to go, didn't pop one in.
That's one way to look at it.
But
Okay.
Dak did it. Dak went the whole length of the field, and Zeke scored it.
One way is to
But, man, that's exactly what that game of what the Cowboys put on the field at home against a 1-win team that was swapping out quarterbacks, right? Isn't that the phrase that if you've got 2 quarterbacks in the NFL, you've got none? We're sitting there watching this game yesterday at the NFL Network. We're like, boy, Davis Mills can move. And then somebody in the room goes, that was Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah, I was
really?
confused.
Wow, Driscoll could really sling it. No, that was Davis Mills. Really?
I will say this.
What the hell was... Hold on a second. One last thing.
Sorry.
NFL Network researcher... It's a Dante's Inferno. Dante comes up with all of these great phrases, and
That's his name?
And phrase Inferno is his last name.
Oh.
Yes, Dante. But he said yesterday in the middle of our hangout yesterday that Amari Rodgers had more receiving yards yesterday with Driscoll and with Davis Mills. Both of them. He had more receiving yards with both of them, more than in any game he ever had with Aaron Rodgers. Dude, the way that they were playing yesterday is exactly why people think that no matter how the Cowboys look in this regular season, when it comes to the playoffs, they are going to blow it.
Okay.
Now, that was the same answer Josh Allen gave yesterday when he was asked by a reporter, well, something along the lines of, like, the offense isn't really clicking on all cylinders. It just doesn't look like it's working very well. He goes, okay. Like, what's your question? I'm telling you, yesterday is exactly why everybody's wondering what ticks inside a Dallas Cowboy that makes them follow up the complete dismantling of a lesser opponent with an even lesser opponent than their lesser opponent they dismantled, and they almost lose that game. How the hell does that happen? Fact. Especially when Pollard scores twice. Okay? And Zeke scores once. How the hell does that happen? How do they just sit back there and be picked apart by Jeff Driscoll and Davis Mills and Amari Rodgers. Come on, man.
You kind of left Chris Moore out. He's the one.
I know.
He's the one who had the big day, not Amari necessarily.
I appreciate you saying that.
But here's one way to look at it, right? Yeah, you can say that, like, yeah, we barely beat a one-win team, which, by the way, that did not look like a one-win team yesterday the way they were playing.
Because of the way you were playing.
But here's the other thing. Like, and I always say this about Facebook. I say you go on Facebook and you have an on this day thing, and I told you, like, how many years that I've had something negative to say about the Cowboys, right? Fact of the matter is, in years gone past, that was a game that the Cowboys would have lost that game, right? To me, I want to look at the positive.
Look at the positive on that.
Those guys could have just
they put their foot in the ground.
They could have sent it in. They made incredible defensive plays, and then they still had to go 98 yards to win the game.
And then you look at the standings,
and by the way, you don't get extra credit points by who you beat or how you beat them. It's like, did you get the win? To get that win, this team would have lost this game in years past. It wouldn't even have been a thing. And for them to come back and win this game, have a big defensive shut down on this team who was at the goal line. We should have won that game, but the defense came up. Tank Lawrence came up. Micah Parsons didn't have his best game. With 98 yards, we won the game.
That's it. Everything you just said is 100% spot on.
So we can nitpick and go, well, they didn't do this right. I mean, we lost their tackle. Okay,
TJ. Like you have every right as a Cowboy fan to push back in the manner in which you've said it. Done, and you are absolutely right in everything that you just said. Fact of the matter is, the way that the season ended, with the way the last 25 seasons have ended.
Yeah, we would have lost this game.
And I said this to Michael Irvin yesterday on game day morning, that this is the first time in the 11 plus years that I've done this show with him that I truly do believe this Dallas Cowboys team, offense, defense, special teams, has what it takes to actually win the Super Bowl in that year. Not only because of how good they are, but nobody else is totally running away with it. And they have now 2 games coming up for them to shut everyone up who is going to be just yappering as much as they rightfully should too.
Sure.
Coming off of that yesterday, they got 2 games. One against Jacksonville. Okay.
Played great yesterday.
They sure did. And Doug Peterson knows what it's like to go against this team and beat them. He knows how to beat the Dallas Cowboys. He knows what to do.
Different team.
Understood. Does he? Different team, but he
didn't have to deal with number 11.
It's not his first rodeo against the Dallas Cowboys, as, say, would have been Urban Meyer. Okay, so you got that one where everybody's talking up the Jaguars, and there's going to be a lot of trap game talk. I mean, you want to hear those 2 words, trap game. The 2 words you're going to be hearing a lot this week are Brock Purdy and trap game. This is a trap game.
You're right about that.
Brock Purdy leading up to that Thursday night in Seattle, and Dallas going against Jacksonville before they take on Philadelphia at home. These next 2 games can just basically say that Houston thing was an outlier. Everyone has them. That was ours, and we won it.
But
there's no but.
Oh, okay.
There's no but.
Okay. Here's my rebuttal on this, though. Interesting last year, because the Rams going into December weren't playing really good. The Rams ended up November 29th. They lost to the 49ers 23-20. They beat the Cardinals the next week 38-28. They beat the New England 24-3. Then they lost to the Jets. And we're not talking about this year's Jets. We're talking about last year's Jets, 23-20. And you had Matthew Stafford was Mr. Pick Six. You question the move that they had made at that point on whether or not they should have signed Matthew Stafford. They did not look like a well-oiled machine that was favored to go ahead and just roll into the playoffs. And you had, the second to the last game of the season, they beat they lost to Seattle, December 27th, okay? They lost to the Jets, December 20th. They ended up losing to the Seattle Seahawks on the 27th. And they beat the Cardinals 18-7 and ended up winning the Super Bowl. On the flip side of that, the Green Bay Packers they were on a roll going into the playoffs. They finished off, of course, beating the Rams in November, beating the Bears 45-30. They beat the Ravens 31-30. They beat the Cleveland Browns 24-22. They beat Minnesota 37-10. And then they rest their players and scored 30 points and lost to the Lions at 37. And, of course, had a bye week and then proceeded to get bitch slap against the San Francisco 49ers. So, 5 weeks away from the playoffs, you still got the win. And not everybody has these games that are perfect, well-oiled machines where you just look like you're just rolling. And so there's still a lot of time and a lot of games to be played. And the key on this was you won the game. All right, good people, I got to hit the road. You know how we roll. I'll see you on the road.
Our folks here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the show for the Sports Report.
I wish.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?